Coming up on this edition of AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf, we'll look back at the game against Lehigh. We'll look forward to the game against Lafayette. And Dr. Billy Walker, Director of Athletics and Recreation, stops by with a state of the department. And welcome into AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. Dan Lang, Coach Brennan, and Coach, coming off another tough loss on the road. This one to Lehigh. It's to use a cliche, so close but no cigar.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're a really good team. They got a bunch of shot makers. They play well together. They're seasoned. I mean, Tejada's obviously one of the top guys in the league. Pat Andre, Kyle Lefroy. I mean, they really play well together. Cohen. And they can all make open shots, and they get the ball up and down the court. So I mean, I thought we fought back and got ourselves back into the game, so we had a chance.
When you look at the conference, you have 3 conference losses at this point, but by a total of 9 points. So that really speaks as to the parity in this conference so far. Yeah.
I mean, we played on paper anyway the three of the top teams in the league on their home court, and we competed with all of them. You just got to try and steal one of those, because it's, like you said, there's a ton of parity, and anybody can beat anybody at any given night. All the games are close. There's been some crazy lopsided first halves. So everybody, I think, is playing well offensively, can put points on the board on any given night. So you better be ready to play whoever you're going against.
How frustrating is it for you as a coach, and remembering back to when you were a player, to have games where you're right there and so close right at the end, or you're down but you fight back, maybe even take a late lead, and then see it evaporate and lose by just a couple? How tough is that?
Yeah, well, as long as you can take positives away. I mean, obviously you never want to lose, and it's sort of how you win and lose that that's important. So as long as you see your team improving, getting better, guys making progress. And being in those situations, often will help us down the road.
So you mentioned that there's a lot of offense in the league. Are you not seeing much defense really as much in the league? When you sit there and you look at the standings, you see one game separates first place and one game separates last place. I mean, everybody seems to be kind of right there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's no defense. I think it's just everybody is, good offensive teams, good at what they do, at their stuff. And good individually, a lot of shot makers, and it's hard to guard. So especially when you're on the road, guys on their home court, they're feeling good. So I think it's more that that teams are very good and they're very offensive minded.
Offensively, no shock, we're going to bring up Saeed. We're going to talk about Saeed a little bit. He's accelerated his offensive pace in conference play, averaging 23 points a game.
Yeah, no, he's been great, attacking constantly. He's a handful. Teams have been playing him, all kinds of different ways, going under screens and icing ball screens, and, he's found a way to sort of be productive regardless of what other teams do. So we need him to continue to do that. And he's also been doing it on the defensive end too. I mean, he gets a lot done defensively. So we're going to need him to continue to do what he's doing, and then hopefully, more guys keep coming along.
How much are you working on that with him at practice, as far as the way different teams are sort of coming at him and defending him, and yet he's still able to work through that? And how much of that is just his natural ability?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of both. You can only do so many things in practice to mimic what the other team's doing, and it's not just, okay, how are they going to guard Saeed? It's, just what are we going to run, how are we going to defend them? So there's a lot to do in practice, so you can't have, these major segments on just, focusing on one guy. But he's good enough, and he understands the game enough where, you do it for, a few minute segment. At least he understands what they're trying to do, and he's able to adapt and adjust on games.
Stacey Beckton has also been playing really well in conference play and is averaging like 11 points a game or so. But what is it for him, and where is it that you've seen the biggest growth for him?
Just his activity level, his comfort on the court. He's obviously shooting well, making plays. He understands the game. Making plays defensively, going after rebounds, offensively and defensively, making plays, stealing the ball, getting in the passing lanes, guarding his man, blocking his own man shot. So he's done a ton. He's done a ton, and and we knew it was in there, and there's a ton more in there. So it's just continuing to work with him, give him ideas of what he should be thinking about, trying to do offensively and defensively, getting him even more comfortable and confident on the court and with his teammates.
What does it mean to have a player like that as your sixth man?
Well, it probably means he should be our fifth man. But he comes in and he's not that kind of kid where he cares, whether he start. He knows he's going to play a ton. So to bring a guy off the bench that can give you that type of production, I think is important.
Indeed. Time for our first time out here on AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan. When we continue, we'll get a visit from Dr. Billy Walker, the Director of Athletics and Recreation here at American University.
Welcome to our sleepy little college town. You may have heard of us. Here we stand up for causes as naturally as we sit down for classes. We believe that knowledge, understanding, and discovery will make the world a better place, and that our contributions are only limited by our imaginations. Words, medals, and degrees don't make us who we are. Meaningful change does.
We are American.
And there's nothing we would rather be.
Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk with Mike Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. Now joined by Director of Athletics and Recreation, Dr. Billy Walker.
Dan.
Thanks for taking some time.
Thanks, Dan, for having me.
Yeah, and I even made the wardrobe change. I know you refuse to come on the show unless I wear the pheasant shirt every year.
And I don't know why we call it a pheasant shirt, because it's actually ducks.
Yeah, well, you love calling it the pheasant shirt, and we're a little past the season really for it. But
it's usually Thanksgiving for some reason. But so thank you. I appreciate that. You're wearing the pheasant shirt.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's jump into basketball. You look at the men's side of things. Lots of positives this year on the men's side. Some big wins for the Eagles. Some close, tough losses. But overall, AU looking pretty good, Mike's crew.
Yeah, I think compared to last year especially, a huge, vast improvement. And like you said, big wins early in the year at Mason, UMBC. Even played well out in Chicago at Northwestern. I'm excited, and we've had a couple close road losses in the last couple weeks, but even in those games we played really well. So I think the Patriot League, like always, especially this year, I think it's going to be just a pack, and it's going to be who gets hot at the end of the year. So I'm excited, and we're going to keep getting better and better.
On the women's side, Coach Jebbia's crew is looking really good, and she came away with her 100th career win as an Eagles coach this year, so that's a pretty cool accomplishment.
Yeah, it was neat to see her hit that milestone, and we're 4-1 in the league on the women's side too. So same thing. I think there's going to be a lot of parity in the league on the women's side also, but we like our chances there too.
When you look at Coach Jebbia's crew and the fact that they were able to go to Hawaii, obviously a cool trip, fun trip anytime you get a chance to go to Hawaii.
Sure.
But what does that mean for the program to be able to go on a trip like that and be able to show people that you're dedicated and you're able to go on trips like that?
No, I think it's great. I think not only for our current student athletes, I think it really shows them that we support them and we want to do what we can to make sure that they they have every opportunity to reach their potential. But also I think it's great on the recruiting side too. I think you had kids in high school looking at our program and seeing that we do things like that to show that we actually we really support our women's program also. So it was a great trip for them.
Hall of Fame season coming up, Hall of Fame day, I should say,
Yeah.
coming up, fast approaching, and pretty neat class this year. You have current volleyball coach Barry Goldberg going in. You have Andre Ingram, who is a part of the Lakers and, of course, played here. And then you have the Infante sisters from field hockey. So a nice all-around class.
Yeah, it's a great class. When we selected this class, we were giddy, on how good this was going to be this year. Any of those, in and of themselves, would be a huge person to put into the Hall of Fame. So having all four of them together, it's going to be great. And Barry, it's the first time that in the history of our Hall of Fame that we've inducted a current coach. We have coaches, in this the Stafford Pop Cassell Hall of Fame, but it's the first one that we've done with a current coach. So Barry by himself was huge, and obviously Andre with all what he did last year and what he continues to do and what a role model he is, and then the Infante sisters, who I'm excited to meet and have them here with multiple All-American accolades. It's going to be a great night. February 9th.
What went into, and put that on your calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
What went into deciding to have Coach Goldberg be a part of this year's class as a current coach?
Yeah, well, we brought it up in the Hall of Fame committee meeting, and there really wasn't much discussion. There wasn't much as much as I thought there may be, because it is a groundbreaking kind of a move. But I think everyone realizes how in the special place Barry occupies in American University lore, so to speak. It's not like we're going to be on this slippery slope. If every coach that's here 30 years we do this for, then that's fine.
Right.
Our next one is Steve Jennings. He's been here 20 years, so in another 10 years, if Steve's still coaching at that point, and so it's not like we have all kinds of current coaches that are going to be that we're putting in at this time. But I think everybody understands the commitment Barry's had to this university and what he's meant for American University over a 30-year career.
Let's talk some about the development and what's going on, what's in the pipeline, so to speak. You have the 110% program going on. You also have special thing going with lacrosse as well.
Yeah. So the 110% across the board, we're really pushing to see if anybody that's donated in the past or starting this year, if they can go 110% of what they did last year. And it's been, we're getting some traction there. That's great. The lacrosse initiative, we have an anonymous donor that's said he or she will match up to $75,000. And so Jenna, our new lacrosse coach, she's pushing that really hard and doing a fantastic job. And we're making huge strides there that we haven't in the past. So we thanks to this anonymous donor and the initiative that we started because of that.
And what does that mean for that program with the new coach? And now you have
it's huge. Just the excitement. Coach Petrocelli's come in and really generated a lot of new, and that happens with coaches whenever that happens. She's really generated a lot of excitement and hit the ground running, and you add this initiative on top of just the excitement that she generates anyway. New field, all constantly. There's been a confluence of great things that are infused into that program right now. So we're really, really excited about this spring.
Wrestling is a passion of yours.
Yeah.
And you've been a chair on the NCAA Wrestling Committee. I believe, it's twice now you've been a chair. Just wrapped up your latest tenure.
Yep.
And one of the neat things that you came away with was making the decision to put the NCAA Wrestling Championships at Vikings Stadium next year. That's a pretty big thing for wrestling, and speaks to the popularity and how much it's growing, right?
Yeah. We're going to go. Decision to go to a football stadium, we hadn't done that yet, so we did a site visit, and that's an unbelievable facility, first of all. We're excited. We'll see how it goes. We're definitely going to have more people in there than we have, and like this year it's in Pittsburgh, and the tickets are already, we're not getting nearly as many from our institutional allocation as we asked for. So that just shows the popularity, and obviously Pittsburgh's a hotbed of wrestling as well. So we're trying to expand to a bigger venue, and Minnesota put in a fantastic bid, and we're really excited. We went out on a site visit of the facility, and it's unbelievable. So people, as a minimum, people are going to love going to an event at that facility.
How much is the sport growing in popularity, not just at the collegiate level, but at all levels, and then obviously that feeds in to the collegiate level?
Yeah, I think you know, 15 years ago, you know, it had waned a little bit but it's definitely building back up, and there's actually programs adding at the college level now. And the area that's really growing is young girls in high school and women's programs at mostly D3 schools, and then obviously on the international stage, the U.S. women do a fantastic job. So that's really an area where it's growing tremendously.
Now for AU wrestling, obviously I know that's one of your big focuses because it's one of your big passions, but you had a chance to go with them out west. Talk about that trip. You had a couple of interesting stops.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. So we've had a quad meet the last few years with North Carolina, Army, Wyoming, and AU, and had been rotating that site. So this year it was in Laramie, and we were lucky the weather was nice, so we went out to Laramie in January before school started, so we were able to do a few extra things after having the 3 dual meets that we actually competed in Laramie. Went down to Colorado Springs, the Olympic Training Center, got tours, met some of the in-resident athletes right after the World Championships this summer. Met one of the world bronze medalists that talked to our kids, got a good workout in, and ate at the cafeteria at the Olympic Training Center. It was really neat. And then went up to the Air Force Academy and got a workout in there the next day as well. And then also got a little session with the director of the entire Air Force combatives program. So went over a little bit of hand-to-hand combat and some of the techniques they're using. Right now over in Afghanistan and Iraq. So it was really a really neat program for our kids to go through.
How was it to eat at the cafeteria there at the training
at
center?
At the OTC, it was great. Yeah. It was really nice. when you don't have to worry about what you're eating, you know, right. It was good. It was
you
really
figure
good.
everything that they're putting out there is healthy, right?
Yeah.
That's what
good.
you figure.
It was good.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by and talking about the state of the department.
Absolutely. My pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
That's Director of Recreation and Athletics, Dr. Billy Walker. I'll do a wardrobe change. Mike rejoins the conversation as we continue on AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf.
Welcome to our sleepy little college town. You may have heard of us. Here we stand up for causes as naturally as we sit down for classes. We believe that knowledge, understanding, and discovery will make the world a better place, and that our contributions are only limited by our imaginations. Words, medals, and degrees don't make us who we are. Meaningful change does.
We are American.
And there's nothing we would rather be.
I've done the wardrobe change, and we're back here on AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan. Let's jump into the next game, and that is the home game against Lafayette, the Leopards, and head coach Fran O'Hanlon. A team that is struggling, a team that right now is in the basements of the conference, but as we've talked about throughout the show, that doesn't really mean too much, right?
It doesn't at all. I mean, anybody can. I mean, they were, toe-to-toe with Lehigh, on their home court, just like we were. And they have a lot of offensive firepower. They move the ball really well. They get up and down the court. They really test your defense. So, it's going to be, obviously a difficult game.
3 players they have averaging a double-digit scoring, led by Justin Jaworski. What do you see from him?
Normally you're always, kind of fearful of their best player, and you're like, what are we going to do with this guy? He's one of the few that I just love watching him play, to be honest with you. I mean, he really moves the ball. He's their leading scorer, and the ball, barely, it's in and out of his hands. I mean, he's looking for his teammates. He's cutting. He's moving. Really knows how to play, and just a tough competitor. So as much as I admire his game, I'm not looking forward to playing with him.
Another guy I'm sure you're not looking forward to going up against is Alex Petrie, right?
Yeah, well, Petrie's a really good individual, talented scorer. He presents problems. He can really shoot, can get to the rim, can really handle the ball, shoots off the dribble. So with all of their motion and movement, and it seems like he's sort of buying into what they're all about. And once he does, he'll be even more of a handful than he already is.
So when you look at the game, you look at the matchup, and you look sort of how everything is shaking down for you guys and for them, what do you look at as the biggest challenge or the biggest key to the game against the Leopards?
I mean, just coming out with energy, being ready to defend, run our offense. I mean, do all the things that you practice at at a high level. That's what everybody's, doing. And so, you got to get your home wins. You're on your home court, so, you should feel good about, your offense, playing offense and shooting and getting out and running. But it's going to be, just guarding their motion, guarding their transition, stopping them offensively because they can put a lot of points on the board.
So as fun as it is and as good as it is to be home against Lafayette, then you have to hit the road and go to Boston University, take on the Terriers, and you're leaving immediately after the Lafayette game because Boston's expecting some snow early next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has that sort of turnaround at some point in the league schedule, but that's a tough one where you're playing a game, you just have one day of rest or prep, and then you're immediately playing again. So it's hard enough where it's with 2 days of rest/prep. So it'll be a quick turnaround, and you're on the road. So we just got to think about taking care of business here on Saturday first.
But it also allows you a little bit extra time, maybe to grab an extra cannoli.
Which is Nick is the guy to go for that, so he'll hook us up there.
Indeed, Nick Guerrero, the SID here at American University. The BU game, by the way, is on Monday, and you can catch it on CBS Network. That'll do it for this edition of AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan. For Mike, I'm Dan. We'll see you next time.